Ironheart episode 3 had the perfect damn if you do and damn if you don't moment between Riri and John. There are gonna be spoilers. When news of Rampage getting murdered reached Riri, she went into survival mode, and it made sense. She had to get some leverage on the Hood, just in case maybe he tried to come after her. And when I heard Rampage got, I knew I wasn't a good person because my initial reaction was, why? That man had a public Discord and was probably on TikTok. What did he do? What did he say? This is the crime game. If you let some stuff slip, I feel like getting got is always in the fine print when you agree to link up to do some crime. I would have just charged that to the game, but maybe I'm a sicko. What I love about the choice that Riri makes is that there is a consequence for that action. Yes, she's able to get a piece of the Hood, however, she sets off the alarm, which then traps majority of her teammates that are still inside. One thing I did wonder was why she went for the vent instead of escaping through the same way she entered through the pipe in the waterway. Anyhow, she gets out through that vent and she runs into John. John sees her and is like, okay, why are you outside of your suit? And he also sees the cloth she has from Parker's fit. And this was a perfect damn if you do, damn if you don't moment right here. As Parker's right-hand man, John has to take her out. It is the reasonable thing to do, all the evidence considered. What gets me is that John was like showing off with the knives and everything like that, but my man was horrible. My man didn't throw a knife once like bullseye or anything, and his whole stabbing technique was just hack and slash. This dude maxed out his charisma skill tree with the knife and put no points into actually using the knife. Riri survived long enough for Nat to come and rescue her and bounced, but John didn't make it to the door in time before it closed. My man had no hustle. I understand the oxygen was low and Riri was standing in front of the door, but as soon as she left, he should have been fucking jumping for that door. The wildest part to me, though, is the Hood telling Riri, yo, look for John, go get John. And Riri being like, all right, I mean, I'll do a fly around. Hey, your boy ain't moving in there. Because if he was moving, she still wouldn't have gone in there. And the Hood now loses his boy because of Riri's actions. And I love that because it's almost like an inverse of the whole Spider-Man Uncle Ben thing. Spider-Man didn't stop the robber that robbed that wrestling promotion and his Uncle Ben got. In trying to gain leverage on the Hood and protect herself as well as her family, Riri's actions caused John to get got. I mean, John's own actions as well because he was trying to kill her. But had she never gone through with the whole Mission Impossible part of her plan, the alarm wouldn't have been tripped, John wouldn't have been dead, and maybe things would have turned out differently. However, she still would have had to deal with the threat of maybe getting knocked by John or Parker. But things did go the way they went, and not only is John dead, she's also going to implement Ezekiel because his tech was left behind. This is how you write entertainment. The heroes have to make mistakes, and the mistakes have to have grave consequences. That's the hero's journey. And even if you're a hero, sometimes your actions will cause someone else to die. It's a common thing, and just because Riri, a black girl, is doing it doesn't make it an uncommon thing now either. So now it's going to be interesting to see how Riri is going to bounce back from this. If Ezekiel is brought up on charges, is it going to turn him into a supervillain? Now she's going to have the Hood after her for sure. Riri tried to stop a problem, and in doing so, she created even more problems for herself.